Have you ever looked at a couple and thought, they have it all? That was us. Sarah and me, Mark. From the outside, we were the picture of perfection. A beautiful home, two amazing kids, and a love that seemed unshakable. Sarah was my everything. She was vibrant, intelligent, the kind of person who lit up a room just by walking into it. We'd been married for 12 years, and I still got butterflies when she smiled at me. I thought I knew her better than I knew myself. I was wrong. It all started subtly, so small I almost missed it. Little changes in her routine. She started working late more often, blaming a demanding new project at her marketing firm. Then there were the girls' nights, which suddenly became a weekly occurrence. At first I was supportive. I'd handle the kids, make dinner, and tell her to have a good time. I trusted her completely and utterly. But then the distance between us started to grow. It wasn't a chasm, more like a hairline crack, but I could feel it. Our late-night talks were replaced by the glow of her phone screen. When I'd try to hug her, she'd seem distracted, almost stiff. I'd ask her what was wrong, and she'd just brush it off. "Just tired, Mark," she'd say, or "stressed from work." I tried to believe her. I wanted to believe her. I told myself I was being paranoid, that all long-term relationships have their lulls. I suggested a weekend getaway, just the two of us. She agreed, but without the usual excitement. The whole trip felt forced. She was physically there, but her mind was a million miles away. The silence in the car on the way home was deafening. That's when the first real seed of doubt was planted. The real turning point came one Tuesday evening. Sarah was supposedly at a work dinner. I was putting our son Leo to bed when he said something that stopped my heart. "Mommy smells different lately," he said innocently. "Like Mr. Henderson's flowers." Mr. Henderson was our elderly neighbor. He didn't grow flowers. He smoked a very specific brand of cigars. And suddenly, a memory clicked into place. A few weeks prior, I'd picked up Sarah's coat from the cleaners, and I had noticed a faint, unfamiliar smell. I dismissed it then. But now, Leo's comment brought it rushing back. It wasn't flowers. It was cigar smoke. My mind started racing, connecting dots I hadn't even realized were there. The late nights, the phone glued to her hand, the emotional distance. It was all starting to form a terrifying picture. I felt sick to my stomach. I knew I had to find out the truth, but I was terrified of what I might find. That night, I couldn't sleep. I waited until she was sound asleep, and then I did something I never thought I'd do. I picked up her phone. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock it. I knew her password. She'd told it to me years ago. Her text messages were a minefield. I scrolled past conversations with her mom, her friends, and then I saw it. A name I didn't recognize. Alex. The messages went back months. They were filled with inside jokes, flirty exchanges, and plans. Plans for work dinners that were actually romantic dates. Plans for girls' nights that were secret meetups. My blood ran cold as I read messages detailing their trysts, their secret language, the lies they'd constructed together. Every word was a dagger to my heart. "Can't wait to see you tonight," one message from him read. "Last night was incredible," another said. Sarah's replies were just as enthusiastic, filled with heart emojis and promises I thought were reserved for me. There were photos, too. Selfies of them together in dimly lit bars, looking happy, intimate. One photo made me physically recoil. It was of them in a hotel room, a bottle of champagne on the table. It was taken on the night she was supposed to be at a team-building retreat. The perfect life I thought I had. The woman I thought I knew. It was all a lie. I felt like I was suffocating. I put the phone down, my mind a chaotic storm of betrayal and pain. The foundation of my world had just crumbled beneath my feet. The next morning was surreal. I watched her get ready for work, laughing on the phone with her friend, completely oblivious to the fact that I knew everything. She looked at me and smiled, that same smile that used to make my heart soar, but now it just looked like a mask. "Have a good day, honey," she said, kissing my cheek. The casual affection felt like a slap in the face. I couldn't confront her, not yet. I was too broken, too lost. I needed a plan. I spent the day in a daze, going through the motions at work, my mind replaying those texts, those photos over and over again. The pain was a physical thing, a heavy weight in my chest that made it hard to breathe. How could she do this to me? To our family? I decided to gather more evidence, not for a court, but for my own sanity. I needed to see it with my own eyes. That Friday she told me she had another late client dinner. I told her to have a good time, my voice hollow. As soon as she left, I called a babysitter and followed her. She didn't drive to the fancy downtown restaurant she'd mentioned. Instead, she went to a quiet, upscale bar on the other side of town. I parked across the street, my heart pounding in my chest. A few minutes later, a man in a sharp suit pulled up. He got out of his car, and I recognized him immediately. It was Alex Peterson, a senior partner from her firm. A man I had met at company Christmas parties. A man who had shaken my hand and complimented my family. He walked into the bar, and through the large window I watched him greet my wife with a long, passionate kiss. Seeing it happen, right there in front of me, was somehow worse than reading the texts. The digital betrayal had become horrifyingly real. I just sat there in my car, frozen, watching them laugh and hold hands across the table. They looked like a couple in love, completely lost in their own world. A world that didn't include me or our children. I don't know how long I sat there, but eventually, I just started the car and drove home. The rage and the sorrow were at war inside me. I wanted to storm in there and scream, to expose them both. But what would that accomplish? I thought of my kids, asleep in their beds, innocent and unaware of the storm that was about to break over our lives. When Sarah came home a few hours later, I was waiting for her in the living room, the lights off. "Mark, you're still up?" she asked, her voice cheerful. I turned on a lamp. The look on my face must have told her something was wrong, because her smile faltered. "Is everything okay?" I didn't say anything. I just placed her phone on the coffee table between us, open to the picture of her and Alex in the hotel room. I watched as the color drained from her face. The silence stretched on, thick with unspoken truths and shattered trust. Her perfect mask finally cracked, and for the first time in a long time I saw the real Sarah. And she was a stranger to me. The fight that followed was the end of us. It was loud, it was painful, and it was necessary. Rebuilding my life from the ashes of my marriage has been the hardest thing I've ever done. Some days are better than others. The pain of betrayal doesn't just disappear. But through it all, my focus has been on my kids, on giving them stability and love in the midst of chaos. The picture-perfect life is gone, and what's left is something real, something messy, but also something honest. I'm learning to trust again, starting with myself. And I know, with time, I will heal. This journey is far from over, but I'm facing it head-on, one day at a time. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that there is a path forward. Please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories about navigating life's toughest challenges. Your support means the world.